What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing a 90s Buffy style vampire paint. If you saw my top 5 LGBT superhero video, you will know that Buffy is probably like my favorite TV show ever. And I would love the vampires in it, I love the characters, everything about it. And out of like every vampire IP, Buffy's was like my favorite, just the designs of them and how they work. I like how to do everything. They do the transformation phase. So that's what I'm gonna do here with makeup and just maybe a little bit of body paint, but mainly just makeup stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. So I already have like my base done, I have my foundation done, I have my eyebrows done, and the first thing we're gonna do is contour. And I have shade and light palette. Mainly though, the shade I want to use is the coolest tone contour color, because obviously the vampires are super pale, so their contours, there's no like life to it, it's more to chisel out the skull. So I'm gonna do my forehead contour the same like I normally do, and when I do it on my cheekbones and my jaw, I'm gonna pull it in on my cheekbones here and then kind of bring it down kind of next to my mouth to push in my skin more to look more like a skull. And then for my jaw, I'm gonna go, instead of what I normally just follow my jawline, I'm gonna go down in and then out. Alright, you guys, slight lighting change just because I couldn't see really this part of my face. I went a little hard in on the contour, but that's kind of the idea because we just want everything to look really sunken in. And to balance that out, I'm going to take the cool tone highlight color in it and just basically do all my normal highlights, but also kind of buff the highlights into the contours so that they look more soft and pale looking. Alright, now that the basic contouring is done, I'm going to do like the normal highlighting. I'm going to use another Kat Von D item. I'm going to use the sapphire color in the Alchemist palette, because if you want to use cool tones on the face to make everything look more washed out and just not as lively. So if I did like a pink one or like a green one or even the purple one, it would bring more attention to my face and more color to it, and we don't want that. We want to do the opposite because we're vampires, we're dead. And even to bring the skull, more of like the sunken in skull shape to it, bring the highlighter more up to your temples too, because it'll give kind of the eye socket like crescent moon shape that we're gonna help enhance when we contour in the eyes. Alright, you guys, now for the less like eyeshadow part of the eyes, and we're gonna more so like contour the eyes to make them look more pushed in. I'm going off of more specifically like Drusilla and Spike's looks, because they're like my two favorite designs and vampires in the show. So what I'm going to do is, I have the Night End Blackcraft eyeshadow palette. I like this one for this because it's almost all cool tones and a lot of like kind of earthy colors. So we're going to do that, and kind of do like a smoky eye, but keeping it in the crease of our eye to make it look more pushed in. So to start for my transition color, I'm going to use Silent Hill, which is kind of like a really pale tan color. And I'm just going to put that like all my lid and really push it into my crease. Alright, now that we have more of our transition color in, I'm going to go with the more deeper color to kind of give juxtaposition and just add more depth to it. So I'm going to go in with Conjure, which is a lot darker brown and it has a little bit of shimmer in it, which really isn't a big deal. You can choose matte if you want. And I'm going to focus it more on the outer corner and up and like only in my crease. I don't want to buff it out. I want to keep it right down there. And I'm even going to put a little bit like on my outer corner at the bottom too, to like bring it together. Alright you guys, now I'm going to just add the smallest amount of red tone onto my lid, because with the vampires, their skin is a lot paler, so you can, even though they're undead, you can still see like the blood vessels in there, they still bleed. And with Drusilla, she has a lot more of like a gothic kind of eye look, and I want to like add a little bit more in that, but still keep it more universal. So I'm going to use Memento Mori, which is kind of a pinky red, and it's a really pale, it's not like an intense red. I just want to kind of make a wash just over my lid. Alright you guys, now that the bases for the eyes are done, I'm going to move on to the part that actually brings it into the Buffyverse kind of vampire and do all the face wrinkles up on the forehead and a little bit around here, and that's going to give you from just like the normal, whatever, like pale smoky eye to the vampire look. And to start doing that, I'm going to get a brow pencil and just outline all the spots that I want to add the wrinkles, and then we're going to go in later with eyeshadows and stuff to like give them dimension. I have always been a huge fan of vampires and anything like werewolves, vampires, all that stuff. I was never a fan of Twilight growing up, and for me it was mostly like video games and stuff that like introduced me to it. Like Skyrim, whenever I played Skyrim, I was like always did like a vampire build. I always, when Dawn Guard came out, I was like ecstatic. And then I was like 13 or 14 when I started watching Buffy, and that like changed my life. Aside from just having the vampires in it, I just loved everything about the show. I loved the characters of the development. It was actually Willow's coming out story is kind of what made me comfortable with my sexuality and made me realize that like, oh, this isn't weird, this is normal. It's just like really beautiful, and I feel like everything Joss Whedon did with it was just really great. He didn't do a whole, I don't want to say he did nothing wrong, but like season 5, 6, questionable. But overall, it's just a really great show. The lore with the vampires actually makes sense. They're not glamorized in any way. It's like, he makes you know that they're evil creatures and you're not supposed to mess with them. And that's something I really liked seeing. Alright you guys, now that I have everything lined out, I'm just gonna buff just buff what I drew out on first and then kind of build from there with the darker shadows and add dimension. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get like just a straight square brush, I don't even know what this is called, a flat liner brush, and just buff out all the lines. I'm going to buff them down, because if you buff them up you're going into your highlight zone, so you want to buff them down because then it adds more of like a bevel or divot look in your face. And also don't be afraid to like contort your face. Look at a lot of my natural wrinkles go sideways out, so don't be afraid to like move your head and follow the wrinkle line, just to get more of like a natural look with your face and less just like it's put on your face flat, you know what I mean? I'm also bringing down the shadow from like my brow bone down into where my eye socket is, because like especially on Drusilla, her like vampire form is a lot feline looking, and that's kind of what I'm like looking at and where a lot of my inspiration from. So I'm bringing this brow wrinkle down into my eye socket, and I'm even going to blend it back into where my eye goes to give it that more sunken in, like pushed up kind of look. Okay, I forgot to clean off that dense brush, so I have just like shadow all here. Clean that up, not a big deal. I'm just gonna get either like a white shadow or like my highlight shade and just go over it, buff it out, and you should be fine. Alright you guys, now for more of the detail stuff. So we have everything planned out, we have it all buffed out, but it's still, there's not a lot of depth to it. It still doesn't look like it's a part of our face, so now I'm going to go in with darker browns and the smallest amount of black, and really only the black in the bigger parts of the wrinkles, and kind of push that in so it makes everything look a lot more in, and then we're going to go with the highlights, put everything out, and it should look less just, what's the word I'm looking for, pushed on, not, there's like nothing to it, so that's what we're going to add. And let me see, I don't have anything. I have this like just browns, so I'm gonna go more for the deeper browns. Still try to stay away from warm tones, but yeah, so like this brown is a good one, that one, basically any brown that's neutral or cool that is darker than what you use to draw everything out. And you also want to remember that this is your skin. It's not wrinkles on your skin, it's wrinkles under your skin. So you want to make sure it doesn't, just don't do like a block of color. Like make it fade in and out, don't make it completely consistent all the way, and don't make every wrinkle the same. Like the same shades, the lighter ones, like the ones down here, are going to be lighter than the ones like up here and down here. Alright you guys, now I'm going to go into the highlights. So I have a little bit of concealer that's maybe a shade lighter than my skin tone that I have, and I'm going to go and put it on the tops, like in between the wrinkles, and buff them a little bit down on the wrinkle, but mainly on top to make it look like that part of the skin is like raised up. And to do that, I just have like the little concealer wand and this like a really small, what brush is this? Just a little smudge brush. I'm just going with that, buff it up with my fingers, and just try to make everything look more up and down and wrinkly. Okay, now I'm going to focus back in with the eyes and hollow out my brow bone, not the crease of my eyes, but just above that in the brow bone, to kind of give this part look like it's more pushed forward than where my eyeballs are. And this is where I'm going to go in with the black, and then I'm going to bring the black also in down here a little bit more. Alright you guys, to finish off, I'm going to do some mascara and add a little bit more black to the inner corners of my eyes, and that should be it. We'll see it at the end. Alright you guys, this is the finished look. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys learned something. I hope this, if you haven't seen Buffy, this helped you discover Buffy, and you will go watch it and then tell me how great it is. I also hope you guys like the kind of like cosplay style makeup tutorials and body painting tutorials that I do, and not just normal like glam makeup, because one, that's like oversaturated. It's not really something I do. I definitely enjoy more like avant-garde artistic makeup. So yeah, if you guys want to take our relationship to the next level, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I will have links to all my socials down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!